everybody. We're here at the beautiful San Antonio Zoo on a really nice, cool afternoon. And I'm here to talk to you guys about some of the coolest animals that we have, giraffes. And there are so many cool things about giraffes that we're going to talk about. And there's so many more things that we could talk about, but we have a limited amount of time, so we're just going to talk about a few. Number one, the first thing you probably see is how tall they are. They're very, very, very tall, the tallest land animal. The males can get to be 18 feet. So if you think of that, if you put, let's see, two and a half basketball players on top of each other, that's going to be how tall a tall giraffe can be. Pretty incredible, huh? Now the girls aren't quite as tall. They can be about 15 feet, you know, sometimes more, sometimes less. But nevertheless, they're very, very tall, beautiful animals. And you can see they have really, really long necks, and we'll talk about that. But right now, I want to just talk about their heads and their faces. Number one, they're beautiful. They have gorgeous long eyelashes. Don't we, all of us girls, wish we had those long eyelashes? You know what? Those eyelashes are really for the same reason we have our eyelashes, but we don't live in the desert and in the sandy area. Those eyelashes protect their eyes from the sun and the sand and the blowing dust and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really a protection for the giraffes, but they are beautiful. And under those eyelashes are great big eyes, and they have very, very, very good eyesight, probably the best eyesight of any of the animals in Africa. And also, if you notice, they have really big ears. So what does that tell us? Well, they have really good hearing too. And think, well, I wonder why they need that. Well, because the main predator of the giraffe in Africa is the lion. And so giraffes need to be able to be very aware, they need to be able to hear, they need to be able to see where the lions might be. And their eyes are situated more on the side of their head, which tells us that they're a prey animal, not a predator animal. Like our eyes are in front because we are predator individuals. But theirs are on the side, and that allows them to see laterally better than we can. So those are some cool things about their head. Also, you will notice that they have horns on top of their heads. Those are called ossicones. They're horns that are actually part of their skull. And they have two, but they can actually have, up to 5 or so. Some people say up to 7, but those will be smaller. Now the boys are not going to have any hair on the ends of their ossicones, but the girls, because they don't fight with their ossicones, they can have little tufts of hair. And that's one way you can tell the girl giraffes from the boy giraffes, is the girls will usually have little tufts of hair on top of their ossicones, which is pretty cool. Our giraffes are all boys, so you won't see any little tufts of hair on their ossicones. But we have 3 giraffes. We have Alan, who's about 10 years old, and he's the daddy of Cosmo, who's about 7, and Braden, he's the baby. He's, I think, between 4 and 5. Anyway, they all have their own individual personalities, and if you spend any time with them at all, you can see that very easily. They're really so interesting and so much fun. Now, the other thing about their head is they have a very, very, very long tongue. Their tongue is about as long as my arm. It can be like 18 inches long, and it's purpley black. Why? Our tongues are pink. Well, our tongues aren't hanging out of our mouth, are they, to get food? Well, the giraffes are, because they curl that tongue up around the leaves of the trees that they eat, and they bring the leaves into their mouth. And so they need that long tongue. So it's out of their mouths a lot, and it gets sunburned. So that coloration really helps protect the tongue from getting sunburned. Isn't that cool? So thank you very much for your time and attention.